Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are live, baby. We are live. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding. We running a little late, but we're here. We're here. Tonight is going to be a very, very special episode because there's been a lot of violence going on in our game, and I just want to open up the discussion and talk about it and try to figure out what can we do to ensure that our game stays the way it is and keeps growing, right? Can't say stays the way it is, right? How do our game keep growing? Because that's what we want to do. We want to keep evolving and keep growing. Violence should never be a part of the game. And I'm not here to point fingers. Only thing I'm here is trying to get some answers and see what we could do to make the game better. So this episode is Stop the Violence in New York City Basketball. Do I have all the answers? No. I don't got all the answers, Sway. I don't got all the answers. But hopefully we can bring some people on the show that do. All right? So sit tight and enjoy the show.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. Like I said, I'm your host, Glenn Poole Harding, and you've been watching Basketball Heads Live, the podcast. Today's episode, we're going to talk about a lot of these incidents that's been going on in the sport. And our first guest I want to bring up is, he's not a guest to the show. He's a friend of the show. We all know who he is, legendary New York City coach Ron Naclerio is our first guest. What's up, Coach?
Well, you know what? I love being on the show. I love talking basketball, but unfortunately, sometimes when you love to talk, you have to talk about something you don't love. I mean, violence is disgusting. I've been hit hard. The last 5 years, 2 players shot and killed. 2 former players shot and killed. One was only 14. One was 22. 2 parents shot and killed. What's happening now might not be as drastic as getting shot and killed, but when you go to a game and you see what has been transpiring more and more, and then you go on the internet and you see an AAU tournament here or an AAU tournament there, I mean, it went from box out to now box.
Yeah. I remember you hit me up this past weekend and, you was calling to get some information because you had some information to tell me. And I was kind of shocked what was going on. And needless to say, once I found out what was happening and what is happening right in front of you, I told you, I was like, man, we got to discuss this, man. It's getting out of hand. And now videos are circulating, people having their opinions. But again, I'd like to let everybody know we're not here to point fingers. We just here trying to open up the discussion and just get some dialogue going on, right? Like, where do we go from here? You've been around a long time, Coach. You look, we go back to days when the referee got killed in that tournament in Queens. Remember that back in the days?
Yes, it was Greg Vaughn, Foch Boulevard, Baisley Park. Greg, who was the coach at Queens College, who was a hell of a player for Queens College.
Get yourself, hold on, Coach. Get yourself more on the camera too, because I'm only seeing half your face. There you go.
Right. Is that better?
Yeah. There you go. Get that nice Cardozo shirt on, like nice.
You got to support. But violence. You go back to probably prehistoric times. Violence. You were fighting a dinosaur, and then it was World War I, World War II, fighting other countries. Unfortunately, we saw a lot of violence in New York City and around the country, and now it's actually being seen on something we love, 94 feet by 50 feet. I mean, I heard what happened Friday, and I heard it was really ugly. And here I am this past Saturday at a tournament. I'm blessed. I have two top assistant coaches. One is Tony Mamanakis, the other Mike Bissett. Tony Mamanakis was coaching, and I'm down on the baseline, basically being a very loud fan.
Right.
And at this one particular tournament, they're very nice. They have the cooler of waters in between benches. And I walked toward the cooler after a foul made by the referee. The other team fouled one of my guys on a defensive rebound for my team. And one thing led to another, and the coaches and the referee were joring back and forth, and a technical was called. I'm walking to get the water going for the other team's bench, and I actually opened up the Poland Spring, took a couple of sips, and what I saw, I actually was it Poland Spring or was it Tito's? Because I actually was like, huh? I could not believe what I saw. A referee hitting a coach hitting a player. And then, I'm not 22 years old, but of course I intervened trying to break it up. And thank God a lot of people tried to break it up. And every time it was broken up, of course, you let go of one person or maybe not hold them as hard. They would continue to go back at the other. And a couple of times I'm holding on to the guy. I actually felt like I was in a sled because the other coach of the other team, who I like, he's a great guy. I won't mention his name. He was dragging me like it was a sled. And
wow.
A couple of guys that was 75, 80 came running over. Coach, they pulled me out because they didn't want me to get hurt unintentionally.
Right.
And then I realized, like, what am I doing? But, it's crazy. But if I'm allowed to add a fourth assistant, because you're allowed to have 4 coaches, 1 head and 3 assistant. Right now I have 1 and 2 assistants. If we're allowed to add 1, I'm hoping I can add Mike Tyson, because that's what's happening right now. It's insanity how you have to think. It really is how you have to think violence, think precaution, and, the parents, the kid, the coaches, the referees, the fans, the area, the atmosphere, and social media sometimes negatively fuels it because of the gratification certain people get by being noticed doing something insane.
Listen, I don't want to just say, that the referees are the bad guys, right?
No. I mean, listen, the referees who ref my games know. At most, I might yell, hey, that was a foul, and then I yell at my player. Or that's 3 seconds, or something like that, because I've only been coaching now, when I start in the fall, my second half century, 51 years. And for 50 years, of which I don't think I've gotten a technical in about 21, I've never had it where I yelled at a referee and the ref said, you know what, coach, you're right. I'm going to change the call. And then, it was funny because we had a game up in the Riverdale tournament, Tom Konchowski Foundation Classic, about a month ago. And one of my kids thought he got fouled and came down and fouled the guy. And he's complaining, and he didn't get fouled. He just blew the layup. So I didn't realize what I said because I was trying to be sarcastic to the kid. I yelled to the kid, and the crowd heard it, and they laughed. But now what's happened a month later, I go, yo, so what should we do? Should we beat up the ref? Should we attack the ref? Should we call up the mafia and when he leaves the park, jump him? I mean, and I made it sarcastic to say, hey, but unfortunately, something crazy like I just said is really physically happening.
Yeah, I just saw the video the other day of a referee being choked out, right? And in a big crowd, right? So we got a situation where referees were attacked, and then you got a situation where a referee attacked someone, right? And it's all involving people who we know that this game can't be played without them unless we just playing pickup. So we got a real game going on. The referee, the officials are like the engines to the car that make everything move. Right? And we got to take care of our engine. We got to take care of the referees, but also we got to hold people accountable if there's a referee or not, if they're, doing a violent act during a basketball game.
Well, one of the biggest things that I like when there were refs, there were some refs that are really good, but they're a little too like they're the dean and you're the student that got sent to the dean. I like referees where you can have dialogue, question and answer, and talk,
Right.
And I like when a referee says, hey, coach, I might have blown that one, But you know what? Just like maybe I make bad moves as a coach, even though when I make the move, I think I'm doing the right thing, or a player makes a move and it turns out wrong. We're all human. It's an inexact science with inexact human beings, and it's just so bad because the basketball court should be something that is so sacred that you might have violence across the street, you might have violence down the block, but on that court, it's like hallowed ground.
Yeah.
And that ground is not hallowed anymore. It's hollow because of the cracks that's happening in society. And can we change it? It's going to be a long, drawn-out process. I mean, some parents need anger management. Coaches need anger management. Players need anger management. And I do remember what I said to the coach when I was trying to hold him back. And I said, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I know that there are a lot of people in jail that lost it for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And for those 10 seconds, their lives are negatively impacted. Their families' lives, people, and said what the jail mentality of trying to do something we're starting to see on the basketball court, And I know when coaches say, don't let the other kid thug you, don't let the other kid horse you, we mean it in a basketball sense. We don't mean it, in a fisticuff sense.
Yeah. Hey, Coach Zach, come back on, Coach. I see you, Coach. We got Coach Zach on. I want to bring him on as well. Hey, what's up, Coach?
Hey, how you guys doing?
How you doing?
How you doing, Coach Pooh? Coach Ron, good to see you again. Yeah, I really, as soon as I saw this incident, now this wasn't even the one at Gerst Park, right? This was another one?
This is, okay, so there were two. Actually, there were three, but the other one wasn't a violent act. right? It was just a lot of juring, arguing back and forth. But the
Right.
two serious ones was the one at Gersh, and then
Where
at
was this
base.
one that you
Now it was
photographed?
at the base tournament in Queens. Now both of these tournaments are ran by great individuals.
Right.
Coach Charles, Coach and DP, great
Yeah, of
commissioners,
course.
and they do
And
a
I
lot of
saw
great
DP in
things.
the video mixing it up and trying to split it up. And
Yes.
Pooh, I only have a few minutes. I double booked. I'm so sorry
Go
about
ahead,
that.
go ahead, go ahead.
This
Don't worry about it.
conversation is so important to me, though, and it's so much a part of what I do, right? I do basketball tournaments all over the city. I'm in Brooklyn a lot, but I'm also in the South Bronx. I'm in East Harlem. We work with 20, 25 different NYCHA developments. So we deal with this a lot. And what you're talking about, Coach Naclerio, right, of like, it's a long-term path to get where we want to go. At the same time, this basketball is the absolute perfect platform because we find ourselves in these extremely charged, extremely heated interactions, and we're able to make sure that everybody goes home safe. So the more that we drill that into our culture and set that precedent that you can have competition, you can have conflict, you can have debate with a ref on the floor, and everybody's going to go home, we're actually setting an example and building a model for what restorative justice, community justice looks like. So it's extremely important. What I would say in all of my, experience, I really hold, coaches and players and refs responsible for stepping up and intervening in these situations before they escalate to the point where people are, a physical confrontation. That's something that I do a lot. Like I'm scanning the scene constantly to see, oh, this person is going to be set off. They're easily triggered. Okay, this person has to stay away from that person. That player is going to and so we try to head these situations off before it gets to a physical conflict. And I think our mentality, the culture in New York is very much like, that's not my business. I'm not gonna involve myself in someone else's situation. And we have to actually shift that. And so I talk to all of my players before games. Like, I'll be in a situation where I'm in the projects and places where people don't even know me. And I just say, listen, we're down a ref. We have one ref. We're going to do the best we can. I need verbal confirmation from every single one of you players that you accept moving forward. These are the limitations of what we're doing here. And nobody's threatening refs. I don't care. Even if they have money and side bets or whatever, I'm like, refs are refs. Refs are neutral. They get paid their regular rate and that's it. So it's like stuff like that where it's just leadership. And I think if anyone is listening to this, that's the major thing. We're part of a basketball culture, a community. We need to speak up and we need to intervene and take ownership and responsibility for our community and for our culture and intervene before we see these incidents unfold. That's my biggest contribution that I wanted to
Coach
make
Zach,
to this
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
When teams just pop up, they go from here to there, and there's the pride of winning, the embarrassment of getting abused. Somebody breaks your ankle, you get dunked on, and your self-esteem. We don't know. I mean, I know my kids, and I have an idea if it's a high school team who's on the other team. But in a AAU setting, league setting, it's so hard because there's so many people that want to egg on negativity. They egg on negativity, and somebody shoots into be, I'm the big bad guy because I did this. Like I said earlier, if it gets to the point where they're dead or in jail, they're saying to themselves, "Oh, what the hell did I do?"
No, I loved what you said, Coach Ron. The 10 seconds. That's absolutely true. I know 100 people that have lost 10 years over 10 seconds for sure.
What is this teaching the kids? Like at the end of the day, right? Like what is this teaching the kids? because we're talking about our future and the future of New York City basketball. Because if the referees stop officiating these games, it could take away from the development of all of our players that's trying to
Right.
develop within the city. Because a lot of them don't get a chance to go out of town and play AAU. They depend on playing in the city and playing in these tournaments.
Well, one
Gentlemen, I'm going to tap back in. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Peace to
Kozak,
all
I
of you.
appreciate you, man. BK Network,
Appreciate you
man.
guys.
Keep doing
Thank
your
you.
thing.
Thank you all.
We're gonna bring on we got Coach Damon Lawrence joining us. You know what I'm saying? I
So yeah,
appreciate you, Dame.
sorry for the delay, fellas. I'm
Nah, it's all good,
actually in
brother. It's
transit.
all good.
I'm in transit. It's good to see Coach Naclerio here. He has a plethora of knowledge and experience, obviously, as we all know. Um, but I just have a quick little two cents to put in it. Um, a big issue that we've been having for some years now is that any and everyone can just jump in the game, right? And be a coach and be a handler. And it's even gotten down to the officials where guys are just popping up out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that you ref. And one of my closest friends, he's like an older brother to me, is one of the top officials in New York, a signer, very well respected. And so, I'll be having questions for him as well. Um, but the issues lie in a few things. Number one, New York City basketball and basketball nationally is so watered down that, there's a big delusion of talent and skill set and who we are and what we should be, where we're gonna go when high school is over, and so there's a big delusion. There's a false sense of reality there. And then you have this basketball is life mentality, which is definitely killing our kids. And being a part of in particular, one big program that was so successful and is still successful years after my departure. Um, is, there's no filtering system. Parents are not held accountable. The adults are not held accountable. And it's affecting our kids, which is affecting the brand, which is affecting the sport. And basketball, especially in the summertime, is basically the streets. And
Mm.
it starts from the unlimited all the way down to babies. I went to a park the other day, and I'm hearing adults telling the kid, "You ain't shit," and I'm like, "Yo, this is 12U basketball. I'm confused. Like,
Mm.
what are we doing here?"
Yeah, I've also heard 12 and under, 10 and under parents yell to their kids, shoot the ball, don't
Yeah,
listen to
it's
the coach.
disgusting. Yeah, it's
But you know
disgusting.
what, Sid? They don't realize 96.6 of every 100 kids who play high school basketball do not play in college. D1, D2, D3. And
NAIA, JUCO, that's a fact.
I said something today to Gamble Dukes from the Shadow League that if we took 5 or 10 kids, 3, 4 years old, and we nurtured them every day, trainers, this, that, whatever you can, are they going to be NBA players when they're 2021? And then we take another 5 or 10 kids and we nurture them every day academically, tutors, work with them, teach them. When they're 2021, do they have a chance to become a doctor or a lawyer? And we both agreed that the latter, more of them have a chance of being a doctor or a lawyer than being a basketball player.
It's
Now,
true.
the other thing too is I tell kids, well, if you don't go D1, you go D2, that's great. College degrees do not have D1, D2, D3 on them. You
Well
know,
said. Well said.
it's like, and you know what I don't like about the new game? That I'm in my fourth quarter of coaching, hopefully early fourth quarter, not late coaching, late fourth quarter. But the money has trickled down where, and I understand, I want to see kids make money, but I can't believe a kid can go to college and get 5 or 6 million for playing basketball for you. I can't believe there are kids who are better off playing college for a year than going to the NBA as a free agent because a rookie might only make 100,000 and making 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I just can't believe it. I mean, I go to a New York tournament. I love it. It's great. But I said to myself, the amount of money put in to each event is astounding.
It's ridiculous. But
Woo!
but if you get down to the nitty gritty, and this is again, this is no slight to the young guys. They have poor character. They're academically not high end, right? And this is not all of them, but at some point we have to start to adapt the process of most suburban families. And so, in coaching throughout the years and coaching for a big name, high end program, what I learned is I'm gonna keep me a couple kids from the suburbs of Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, and let them come to New York, because what that's going to do is it's going to give the team a different kind of vibe, a different kind of approach, and they're going to be able to teach these inner city kids some things that they can't teach them, right? And then these kids are going to get some grit from the inner city kids that they don't have in the suburbs. But what I experienced with the two separate sets of parents is those parents don't really care about chasing a Division I scholarship going to the NBA. They really care about the development of the kid, learning how to be a part of a team, learning how to work hard and stay committed and follow through, and all of the other character building things that come with the sport in regards to team. The winning stuff, they never really stressed. The playing time, they knew the guys from the city was better than their kid. Never said a word. They didn't whisper. They clapped. Hey, you guys need some Gatorades. Hey, we going out to eat. We'll pick up the tab. I know you guys got a food budget. Like that's what we have to get, because at the end of the day, we know for a fact every one of these kids can go to college and get a degree.
Yeah.
But we also know for a fact that 3.6% is going to play Division I, II, or III basketball.
Or JUCO or NAIA.
Or JUCO, like, come on, man.
Well, you know what?
There has to be a sense of reality and how this thing is approached, where everybody can get what they want out of it.
Well, you know what? Real with the kids and real with the parents is a 4-letter word. And Glenn, you might get mad at me because I'm going to maybe slip in a curse. There are too many kids that think they're all city, but they're really all shitty.
Yes. Yes.
Hopefully you don't bleep it, or hopefully I don't get written up.
No. As long as you don't curse consecutively, that's all good. And the way you did it, it was cool. So how do we curve some of the violence that's going on? See,
well,
that's the big thing.
Also,
like, how do we curve some of the violence? And we talking about from spectators to coaches to referees, because everybody's involved. No one is, Well,
let me just say something about how there's two great leagues in New York. The Catholic High School Athletic Association is a great league. I root for them all the time. But if it came down to that, and the PSAL, Public School Athletic League, which is the largest athletic league in the world, the history of the PSAL is ungodly. Now, I know the PSAL has different things that they have to worry about. But if you just go to a top flight Queens game, top flight Brooklyn game, Manhattan, Bronx, and you go to Catholic, you walk right in. I am at games and I'm looking around. I don't see a security guard.
That's right.
In the PSAL,
or metal detectors.
Yeah, in the PSAL, and rightfully so, that you have to. It seems like you're going through one metal detector, two metal detectors. It was amazing. And, you want to be safe. So you do feel good. Like when I went to the Jefferson Brooklyn Eagle game last night, I felt safe, And you know what? I really never feel unsafe because I've never, been in a situation where either that or I'm naive.
You could go anywhere, Coach. Come on.
Well, you know what I tell people? Certain things that I'm not used to, certain things I am used to. So if I'm walking into the projects, I feel good. If I'm walking into a forest and I see a snake, I would not act. I'm not used to that environment. I'm used to a project environment, and I do feel for a lot of these kids that are born with 2 strikes and have a toothpick to hit a Doc Gooden fastball with. But I've seen kids with no chance become stars in the game of life. We've also seen kids that can't miss that blew it all.
That's right.
Blew it all. You know?
But we had a situation that happened in high school, and then another situation that happened in Unlimited. Two separate situations, right? Two separate situations that right now has got the city talking. I hear people saying, "Well, it's the money, and I'm going, "Well, something just happened in high school, and there's no money."
Yeah, there's no money.
Right?
Yeah,
There's no money going on. So we can't blame it on that. Let's not use the scapegoat. We talk about the underlying problems that's in our city that's happening during our games
The
that people
culture
feel
is
that we
bad,
have
man.
to
Our
use
culture is
violence
bad.
instead of using our words.
Our culture is bad, man. Our culture is bad. Our culture has become like super street, super ghetto. It's unfiltered. It's unregulated. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. When I go to some of these events, it seems like certain people are a little nervous and a little afraid to address it.
That's a fact.
You know, and
Like,
unfortunately, if you do open your mouth, you're called a square, you're called racist,
and
you
that's
don't
fine. But guess
understand, you don't
what?
know.
Guess what?
Hey,
People are safe. Nobody's getting hurt. And at the end of the day, basketball is not life. And you know that, coach.
oh
When it's
yeah,
all said and done, you can't bounce a basketball forever. You just can't do it. Michael Jordan is not a basketball player, but he's a billionaire
yeah.
because he used basketball to make his way.
You know, I
So
remember when I was playing baseball for St. John's, and for some reason the coach wasn't playing me. And if I dropped out, the Detroit Tigers were going to sign me. I was a hell of a baseball player. My parents sat me down. They said, if you drop out of St. John's, you're out of the house. I didn't drop out. I got my degree. I got drafted by the Chicago White Sox. I was on the fast track to the major leagues. Was going to make the majors in 1980. And in spring training, I ripped the ligaments off my ankle diving into the wall in a preseason exhibition game against the Texas Rangers, and my career was over. And I kissed my mother and father because I got my degree. I went into teaching. I went into coaching, which if I would have dropped out, I might have
those
been a
options are
dropout in the
off the
game of
table.
life,
Yeah,
you know? So I
yeah.
lived the dream and I realized how hard it is. You know, and I tell kids, hey, let's say you're lucky enough you get a 10-day contract in the NBA. And maybe you get a second 10-day contract in the NBA. And that's it. What are you going to do? It's not life-changing money, you know?
I'm,
And I
I
tell
know
so
me.
many kids, you have no chance of playing in the NBA, but you could be in the game of basketball.
Yes, you
Referee,
can.
coach,
Yes, you can.
administration, announcer,
Yes.
business. I mean, you look at the Knicks. If you go through the Knicks and you not the players, you go coaching staff, administration, general managers, assistant GMs. You look at the business end of,
Sales, marketing,
yeah.
branding.
One of my former players, Shabar Ewing, is director of marketing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He loves it, and he blew a Division II scholarship because he thought he was Division I. So, but what can
Listen, there's another text that just came in from a good friend of mine. He was like, "Yo, Pooh, a couple of weeks ago, a ref got chased during Pro City, right?
Yeah.
oh
Again,
my God.
yes, I wasn't there during that situation, but again, we saw the video, right? And we weren't there during the girl situation. We don't know what happened. Um, Ron, you was there during the base incident that happened,
I mean, I was shocked. I mean, like I
right?
said, I thought
So
I
you're
was.
the only one that can give kind of firsthand information to what's going on. We can't. We're kind of like sitting back and looking at the video and judging it on from the outside looking in.
Yeah,
The
I don't think there's any reason. I don't care what happened that should have went that far.
No, no.
Yeah, this basketball. Like this is not a $1 million game. Like what do you if it's 10,000 on the line, it's 10 guys playing, 12 guys playing. What do you split, man? $800 a piece, man. Like you willing to go to jail, potentially lose your life because you don't know who family member that what family member that referee is in the park that might be a cop, might be a street guy. Is it really worth it? There's no
yeah,
situation where anyone should be putting their hands on an official. Officials should be attacking players. Adults should be screaming at players that are I don't know, even if they're adults. cursing at people. Like, this is unacceptable. It's bad. It's bad, and it's putting a stain on basketball, especially in New York.
And
We
it's
all know
giving
a lot of the
parents
same
another
people,
reason to
and they don't want to touch
adios
New York
amigos
guys.
to city.
Well, hold on. Before we start, I want to introduce our next guest, Eric Short. He runs the Brooklyn Basketball History page on Facebook. He does a lot for basketball and Brooklyn basketball, period. I just wanted to introduce him. He said he wanted to come on and give his 2 cents on the situation that's going on. Yo, E, how you doing, first of all, brother?
I've been doing good, man. One day at a time, man. Just trying to elevate myself to, provide what I provide when it's available. And when I heard what happened, Coach, this weekend, I've been saying this for 15 years. 15 years, I'm seeing conduct that doesn't do it. Well, rather, it puts a stain on the game. No matter what anybody says, the comment just a second ago saying he doesn't care what it is, exactly right. No matter what the situation is, there should be no reason for anybody to be conducting themselves like that. And oddly enough, we're talking about this. Watch the little league softball games going on ESPN right now. Look how the control of the situation is. Everyone's conduct is in check.
Well, let me ask you this, Eric. You think is that because they know the cameras and the lights are on them? So when the
No,
cameras and the lights are not on them, they act differently?
I don't think so, because I watch the softball every year, and you see it. It's a commonality that they have everybody in check. Parents conduct themselves properly, no matter where they're from. The whole aura of the environment is controlled from the onset. But you can't do that in a local tournament. But then again, you can. You have to stand firm with that, because what has changed, Pooh? The basket's still the same height. The game is still played. There's still the lines. Everything is the same. But the different thing is parents are interfering. But as my favorite line, all those parents, Pooh, that you see that are complaining, arguing, disputing everything, pushing their children forward because they think they're going to get a check at some point in time. You never see them yelling and screaming with the with the social studies teacher or the math teacher. They're not going back to, back to school night, but they're arguing about stuff on the field of play.
Well, let's kind of give parents a fair shake right now, because they weren't involved in any of those situations.
Right.
Right.
No, I'm just saying.
Right?
No, I'm just covering them for that
No,
moment. But if we can go to the next group, which would be the refs and their conduct. They're not refereeing the game. They think that, it's a power struggle. So they have confrontations with people because of the power struggle that they are not nipping in the bud in their conduct. You don't take on conversations with people on the sidelines as a referee. It's one of the worst things you could do. Even with the coaches, you don't want to have conversations because unless there's some kind of dispute related to the game and how it's going. That happens all the time. But when you cross lines, come on, and what message are you sending to everyone? They had 2 years ago, St. John's had the Lloyd McCrory celebration, and they had an exhibition game going on. Good guy I know that referee, this guy that played with me at West 4th Street. He's a ref now. The guy that was coaching one of the teams was cursing the ref out like I have never heard, as if he was ready to kill the guy. It was ridiculous. I walked on the court and I said, whoa, hold on there. This is an exhibition. He was getting ready to take me on. And I said, what, you going to fight me? I said, calm down. Look, I said, just turn around, look around you. Kids are watching, the team's watching, parents are watching, blah, blah, blah. It's a bad message. Nobody wants to play, and you think your child's going to be a great player. And it's just somebody has to be or put something in place that's going to kind of rail everything back, because otherwise you're going to create more chaos going forward,
Yeah, I appreciate you, Blue Chips Recruiter Index. And Coach Ron, he's not promoting the incident, right? He called me because that's the kind of relationship that Coach and I have. When something happens in basketball, he always kind of inform me, no matter if it's PSAL,
Right.
Captain School, anything. He always informed me what's going on, and I just wasn't in the loop. I don't go to the too many pro-am games. My thing is the high school and down, right?
Right.
But when I do, I usually enjoy myself. But we don't have that aspect of basketball in Brevoort because we only like to deal with the kids because we know how at any moment unlimited game could go either way, right?
Yeah.
And you have to have strong referees. They have to be good at conflict resolutions, right? Because they are the officials of the game. So you have to be able to have conflict, be able to do conflict resolution at the same time as keeping control of the game and not losing your cool. You can't talk to the hecklers in the audience. I was a part of a situation some years back. I say about 2-3 years ago, in Staten Island, when official yelled at my guy who I came to the game with. It was a high school game, and he told my guy to shut up because my guy was in the audience, not being a heckler, but asking the ref, to call both ways. And he yelled and screamed at my guy and then challenged my guy to fight, right? And we did a whole show on that episode and we moved past it. I have the utmost respect for officials. People know I may be the only guy in New York City or probably on social media that promote officials, right? Put them on my page, salute them, and have the utmost respect for them because a lot of my friends are officials. My mentor, Coach Ray Haskins, is a official, right? So my big brother Earl Robinson, my brother Arthur Lee Walker. I could go on and on and on. My guy Glenn and Carlos and so forth and so on. That people who I brought on my show, Mr. Bernard, who runs a whole crew of officials and do what he does, the training officials. My guy John. Again, on and on, the total respect. So when I heard that official swung on a coach, I was flabbergasted because I'm usually hearing that the official is getting attacked, not officials attacking people, especially coaches. And then to hear that, the next day, or the day before, a referee got choked out, and with my phone blowing up, I said this is something that we have to talk about because people calling me like I have the answers, and I'm not saying I have the answers. This is why I wanted to have some dialogue and open discussion to hear everybody else, so we can kind of get give and get some feedback to what's going on in our city, because we got to save our game because all of us are a part of it and all of us have a major impact of what's going on in our city.
Yeah. And
well, common sense is not so common. We assume that, most people know the referee, gives you a technical. You better not get a second technical because you're thrown out of the game. But common sense, no common sense. What do you know? You know.
Blue chip. All right. So he wanted to know, he said, because I'm just going to bring it up and put it out there, right? It says, why is Ron Naclerio running around promoting this incident? And
well,
then
I'd like to answer.
hold on. I said he hasn't been promoting it. And then he said, he took it to Twitter as well. But who better else to talk about the game than a man who's been around the game close to 50 years. 50 years.
Well, first of all,
he's seen it all.
Well, first of all, if something happens and you just say the Mets won tonight, or you say, so and so, may he rest in peace. I just stated a fact and I stated it not to belittle the point. I stated it because I'm shocked. I'm shocked because what you hear about in the distance, you hear about this area. I actually physically saw and physically got involved. So I'm not promoting it. You know, promoting is, hey, come to the Cardoza game. It's $10. You know, like that's promotion. You know?
Right.
I mean, letting people make aware of the situation. And I probably would not even have put it on. But when I heard it happened at a Basketball City, and then I heard it happen the night before, I mean, let's make it aware. You know, news is news, you know?
And you look, and like I was telling them, like, no matter what goes on in basketball, you always call me about it, right? You always you ring my line and you let me know what's going on. And if I don't know about it, if I haven't heard about it, or if you want to make sure that you got your facts straight, you'll call me to figure out, yo, Glenn, did this really happen?
Yeah, that's what, I was astounded. I was astounded. And you know what? You know, promotion, if the word promotion is to brag about something that you're doing, I'm going to promote a player to a college. I'm going to promote the play or the movie. You know, I don't, it's not promoting. I was letting people know of a situation that happened that astounded everybody. I spoke to a couple of people. A lot of people called me because they heard Cardoza was playing, and it was mind-boggling that it happened. So I don't want to ever see it happen again. But the odds are, if I was a betting man, which I don't, will it ever happen again? You know, if I would have to say unfortunately, it's going to happen again.
And this is the sad thing right here. Your blue chip, right? You said Ron is a legend, but let's not give this incident any light. We shouldn't talk about it. We shouldn't have any dialogue. Remember, there are kids. There are kids looking at this.
Yes.
Right. So we have to be able to use our words, right? And I think a lot of us we don't want to get involved. We won't say nothing because we feel like we pouring gasoline on the fire. We're not pouring gasoline on the fire. We're showing kids and maybe adults that need to learn that they need to use their words and not take it to violence.
Well, and for me, it's the conduct. You know, no matter what, forget anybody retaliating back and comment to coach as immaterial. Sticking to the point and the problem at hand. No one here can say that they haven't seen the writing on the wall, because I've seen escalations of situations in other tournaments on all sides, refs, fans, coaches, whatever the case may be. And so we knew that this escalation it started happening for me, because I've been talking about this for years and no one seems to care about it. So like you said, it's like no one wants you to say anything. No, there's a problem. People are getting involved in something. Like I said, you complain about the game and the field of play and anything your kid does, but you never say anything to the math teacher, social studies teacher. You don't go back to back to school night. And I'm talking about we're talking about kids, and if you're an adult and conducting yourself like that, then you haven't learned anything and don't understand the role you play in being around them. Those kids need you. And you're conducting yourself like that, you don't need to be around kids.
Well, you know what? If you do something like we're talking about, and when you're doing it, you realize, oh, this is going to escalate, so the whole city knows that I did it. There's a chance it might not happen. And the fact that we're talking about it, maybe somebody, a ref, a coach, a parent, a kid will say, hey. And you know what? My mentality is, if you saw who shot and killed the cop, and the cops know that you did it, who you saw who did it, and you tell the cops who did it, you didn't shoot the cop. So, it's you have to, by not saying something, you're ignoring the fact that it's becoming a problem. By saying something, maybe we can address the problem, and somebody somewhere might say, I better not, I better not, I better not.
Yeah,
like we go back when Greg Vaughn got punched and killed reffing a game.
Talk about it, right? Because we we don't want to ignore something like this. Again, Eric Short, he does Brooklyn Basketball Hall of Fame. You've been coaching over 50 years, and my place in basketball, I think it just garner us to have a voice to even have a conversation about this. We're not on here pointing fingers. We're not, and again, I wasn't there at any of those instances, but I know that it's becoming a problem because of all the messages I get in my DM and all the messages I get on my phone, and me just walking around the city and people having conversation about it. And I'm like, I don't know. I think there's something that needs to be talked about, right?
Yeah.
The referees do have a union, right? The ILBO, right? IABO.
Yep.
They have different. What now? Is that a union or is that an organization? Please, you would know best, Ron and
Well,
Eric.
I know all referees have to take a course, take the written test, take the floor test, and then they become assigned after that to one of the.
But is there a union? Is there a union that they belong to?
I don't know if it's a union. I think it's an organization.
Let me see.
The person that probably, well, any of the top flight officials. I know there's unions in college and the NBA. I don't know.
No, it's not a labor union. It's not a labor union.
Okay.
No, it's not a labor. My guy Eric Weaver is supposed to be on tonight. I was hoping he could come on tonight. Veteran official. Hold on. Yeah, it's not a union. So just to answer your question, Bluff Daddy, is not a union.
But they have a governing body in some way that holds them responsible. If you do certain things, are you going to be a referee? Are they going to assign you to things? So you'll fall off of that list in some way, fired, whatever you want to call it. Your conduct, man, that says it all. It's just it's all about your conduct. Everyone talks about, hey, if you do this and that, social media, this stuff is going to be out there for you. So the players know that they have to control themselves. That's not a surprise to them. But the adults and the coaches that do this stuff in the community, their conduct has to be held. They have to be held accountable too. And it's like everybody has a part in this process. You go play the game, you take it behind home. Go do homework or something, or whatever it is. Go to your part-time job. But for you to be taking it to the level of wanting to fight over a basketball game or a decision that's made in the game, come on, man. I mean, it's like I don't understand that. And it's like 800 things happen in a game. 800 things happen in a game. And you're very concerned about a couple of calls that, that are not in the favor of what you wanted the outcome to be, because that's what it all stems from. Winning and losing and fighting for what you want to happen, what your lying eyes see. And then your responsibility is you're a spectator. And if you're not that, then you're a coach. Be a coach. Don't be a spectator if you're a coach. Don't be a ref if you're a coach. And don't be a coach if you're a ref. It's not your job. Because if you want to do that, then go start a team. You sit on the bench and you'll be the coach. But your job is to facilitate the game via refereeing. It's crazy to me.
For those people who came in late, I just want to let you know that there's been a few instances in the last week that had to deal with officials being attacked and officials attacking people. So it's going both ways. No one is here pointing fingers. We just here having dialogue about the situation and see how can we prevent this from happening again, because we got to stop the violence in New York City basketball because we are headed for self-destruction. And now I want to bring on legendary official, my guy Eric Weaver, who's been around for a very long time, who refed in all the big tournaments, big and small. So I would like to bring him on and let him add his voice to the conversation, because we're talking all about this, and we have to give a voice to the officials. So definitely, E, thank you for joining us.
No problem. I mean, where do we start? I mean,
How do we stop the violence, E? How do we stop the violence? That's the most important thing.
well, I just came in on a conversation where, I mean, coaches should coach, refs should refs, and players should play. I mean, they're out there to play the game of basketball. We have tournaments now that are for money. Everything's for money now. Everything's for sponsors. Nobody can lose.
Mm.
Um, everything is about winning. I mean, I don't know. You pick one. I mean, how do we stop the violence? Where's the security in all of these incidents that just happened?
Mm.
I mean, who's watching who?
Yeah, yeah. Those people that's on Instagram. Sorry, I can't get to all of uh y'all comments. Please, if you want to comment, come on YouTube. This way I can see it in real time and I don't have to keep switching the screen. But I appreciate everybody who's commenting. So Coach Dan, appreciate you. It says he answered the question. He said the referees do not have unions. Most have insurance through NASO. They belong to their local boards. That's what it is, the local boards. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you. 9-8 9-8 degrees. Sorry about that. If I messed your name up, said whoever is in control of the environment at the venues need to be held accountable also to allow disrespect and threats at their venues. Now, how much can we control spectators and everything that they bring to these games? Can you really can you throw them out? Outdoor, or most of these tournaments and things that's happening is outdoor.
Yeah, it's like you almost can't. It's like you almost can't. So that's why the teams, if the teams are under control, then you can, I guess, trying to, instead of it escalating, you can de-escalate a situation if the teams are not participating in the arguing. But if somebody comes out of the stands and he's standing by himself arguing about something, it looks like it's just him only. So everybody's cool. So that's why the teams need to follow the rules that are governed by that tournament. It's like you can't do this and that, and it has to be known. I know in some higher level AU programs, like, you have to sign agreements. Like this is, what that the coach has to sign stuff. And I'm talking about like across the Eastern Seaboard. You go to some of these tournaments, and I'm in Charlotte. You go there. I mean, the tournaments that we run, we have people checking, people coming in. If there's a problem, I step in right away. I watch every single game. And somebody's out of control before it escalates, I'm walking over and say, hey, can you come here for a minute? Look how you're conducting yourself. I just did that 2 weeks ago. And then after the game, I took the whole blasted team outside and ribbed them. And then the parents, a couple of days later, came back and said, thanks for because a fight started at the end of the game because you were getting blown out. It's something, I nipped it in the bud, but I watch everything. And if you don't have that commitment to control your environment, that's like letting somebody come in your house and start a disruption in your home. It's my place of where I'm running my business, and you're going to control yourself.
Eric, the problem is, though, so many times in 2-3 seconds, it goes, it's like you're lighting a firecracker. It happens too quick, and it's almost, unpreventable. I know when you sense like somebody yelling you can see a lot of situations and confused as it's slowly but slowly heading in the wrong way. But a lot of these things happen in 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost like a car accident on a highway. You're driving and all of a sudden somebody cuts you off, bang, boom, and you find yourself in a hospital.
Yeah. And plus you also have to understand the one thing, though, Pooh, it's also two sides of the story. Yes. So just like we could be critical of how a referee conducted himself, let's just say, you don't know what charged him off on that. We have no idea. So, that there's a two-sided of the story. So that's why I say the rules have to be set in stone for everybody to do it right. because certain things can't. If you don't have any, then I'm open to conduct myself the way I want to. You know,
Ghost said in psychology they call it honor culture. Real easy for violence to kick off where individuals perceive their honor is on the line. Do you
right?
think do you think Eric Weaver, do you think that's happening a lot in tournaments where guys honor feel like their honor is on the line and they perceive that the only way to answer back is with violence?
I mean, I would imagine that's the way the young guys look at it now because it's like you can't say anything disrespectful to anybody. Like if you make a gesture, I mean, you don't know if you're disrespecting somebody just by answering or not answering, ignoring, just doing your job. You just don't know.
And the kids, well, human beings take being dissed differently. Some, it's like a firecracker. They get dissed and they think you took your manhood. Well, I got to show you I'm the man.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. But see, I mean, what I'm missing is when did the fans get involved in the game?
Mm. Haven't they always been involved, really?
I
But you
mean,
talking
they've
about
been
on the balance.
involved.
You talking about on the
I'm
balance
talking
side, right?
about coming out the stands.
Got you.
Like, come on, man.
I
How
mean,
I mean,
I
far are
want to
you
just say
taking
one
the game?
thing, because a kid that I love, Ron Artest, when they had to fight in Indiana, I'm sure if he realized running into the crowd, what would have happened? He lost a lot of money, getting suspended. But you know what I would tell that fan that threw the beer at him? If you were walking through Queensbridge and you saw Ronnie Artest, you would not have the
Exactly.
BALLS to pick up a beer and throw it in his face because you know what he would do.
yeah, but this is like something of a different color, coach,
Yeah, yeah.
because of the actions are. I mean, we're talking about a grown adult running on the court and fighting for a cause that he has no actually like rule wise for the game stake in it. He's not on the roster. He's not a coach. He's not a referee. He's not a scorekeeper. He's not even the guy that wipes the floor when it gets wet. And it's like you're a spectator, and that's and like the good question, when did they get involved in the game? Because it's being allowed,
Mm.
and I'm not saying in a egregious way, but all of the craziness, like there have been times in tournaments where a guy make a nice move and everybody runs on the court going crazy. Oh, that was nice, and it's kind of like that never happened when I was a player. That didn't happen. You cheered from where you were. You didn't run on half court, like it was a winning basket, but it's the halftime. And the guy just made a dunk, and people are going crazy. So it's like they're not processing exuberance and excitement in a proper manner. So how do you think they're gonna conduct themselves when it comes to anger? Because they don't conduct themselves when it's something happiness. The anger level is like a rocket and it's unnecessary, but they do it and it causes problems. Nobody wants to participate. And now look at what we're doing. We're having conversations about this because we perceive it as being a problem. You
Do
know,
you think gambling has anything to do with it? Like far as
Well,
the spectators
well,
gambling on the
on
side, Eric Weaver?
well, for that, I mean, when Joe Hammett and Pee Wee Kirkland were playing, they were gambling then. But guys kept the gambling where it was supposed to be. And also, those hustlers back then, they gambled and they could afford to lose their money. It seems like the guys now, they gamble and they're mad if they lose. And
on
when
their
you
own
gamble,
decision.
there is a big chance that you're going to lose. So why gamble if you can't? But it's like everything is about money now. All right. Now, I said this a couple of years ago. When I was playing, every player on the team didn't get paid. You might have had one guy that got paid, but everybody wasn't getting paid. And then when certain tournaments started, they started putting teams together where guys are getting paid. Now it's about money. It's about sponsorship. We forgot about, well, I'm not saying we, but they have forgotten about what about the game? We got all this other stuff. What is it? The NIL. You got the all these stipulations. But what happens to the game?
And then you can pick up and leave the transfer portal. There's no loyalty. As far as gambling, you saw with Jonte, I forgot his John Nate Porter, Michael Porter Jr.'s younger brother. He
Oh
got
yeah.
kicked out of the league for years for gambling. I just read they're looking into a baseball player because you could actually bet, was his first pitch going to be a strike or a ball? What? It's gotten like that, and people are betting. And, listen,
FanDuel got
Pete Rose,
everybody going crazy. Whatever, all those sports. You can't turn on the sports podcast game where there's not betting right in front of your face.
But what's the cardinal rule? You don't bet if you can't afford to lose the money.
That's a fact. And Ricky Rivers said as well. He said that's not far as running on the court. He said that's not fully true. I'm 53 years old, and guys ran on the court, celebrated plays. He said, but guys was gambling back in the days too, right?
Yeah,
And
they've always been gambling.
yeah,
They've always been gambling. So what are you telling me? The guys today, they can't afford to lose their money, so now they want to fight? But it all goes to where's the security?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
the one
where's the
thing, Eric,
security?
though, a lot of these local tournaments, they're basically, not even making any money. If they had to start hiring security, the entry fees and everything else would be so exorbitant that a lot of leagues would. It's not
That's
we
worth
had
it.
true.
police. We had police at our tournament, straight up
But
and down.
coach, we're talking about the incidents are at these bigger tournaments.
Oh, the bigger tournaments. If I know this, if you have something coming up that's legitimately big, and you call the NYPD to let them know that you want 2 or 3 or 4 or a
They'll
couple
show
of
up.
hours, they'll show up.
They'll show
And
up.
a lot of the cops, they love basketball. I remember a couple of years ago when we were playing schools like Christ the King, the 111th would put, who wants to work overtime, blah, blah, blah. And they had half the precinct wanting to get paid overtime to watch Cardozo play Christ the King at night, because they're basketball fans.
Right. Well, like I said, we have reclassifications where guys want to be older playing against younger guys. Where when I grew up, I wanted to play against the older guys. I didn't
That's a
want to play
fact.
against somebody who's younger than me. So, I mean, it's all about winning, and I guess this is where the violence comes in.
Winning at
'Cause
all costs.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. And but the price that's being paid is what we're dealing with now, because it's at all costs. And I want to address somebody said something about not it's hard to teach emotional intelligence, to people when the dad's not around, he's in jail or whatever. And I take some responsibility as an individual. We didn't give back when, at least let me just say this, we're not giving back the way people gave back to us. There's no, and I just use Brooklyn as an example because that's my environment. There's no Lester Roberts, George Merton, Gil Reynolds, Rodney Park. Those people don't exist where there was a lot of respect, bestowed upon players in the community when they were playing in tournaments. Their conduct meant something. So I blame that the adults are causing the problem, and that and is obvious, but that's where the problem is. If the kids will follow what the adults do, but the rules aren't in place to hold the adults accountable. And once you clean that, then you'll have some, it'll tone down and it'll happen slowly. But if you don't do anything and it's just, conversation after conversation, it's going to be the same, story. Just like, a bad example, maybe it's like the shooting in the schools. Like no one's doing anything to stop it, but every time it happens, we talk about it. That's all we do.
But it's more adults that's doing this than kids. These are
Yeah,
adult
yeah.
situations that are happening right now.
Well, you know
But
what this
they're
is?
learning, no, Pooh, but they're learning, and they're going to start conducting themselves in a crazy manner because they see the looseness, and it's going to fall on theirs. Like, do you fight through it and conduct yourself the way you should as an athlete, or do you see how your coach is and now you're yelling at the rep, jumping in his face? But you see that in every game in the pro level.
Yeah.
Every call you're running, the guy's running over to the referee to say something. Every call. So what do you expect people? And they're emulating all of the craziness that we see is happening on a higher level as well. A little bit more tone because there's a big ass fine attached to that type of conduct on the pro level, but there's no fine on the student level, at whatever level it is.
You had the riots at the Garden in the early 60s. Then there was the riot at the Garden in the 90s. I think Robeson was playing where it was ugly. And there was another riot where basically Madison Square Garden told the PSAL, I got 2 words for you, and they're not happy birthday. And they got rid of us. And
so did the Barclays Center.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize during the Jefferson Eagle game that there was a fight in the stands. I didn't know, and my guys had to tell me because I was on the floor and things was going on in the stands. And now we're back at St. John's.
Yeah.
And it's bad.
These kids are different. All right, these kids are fighting for no reason. You got kids that can't even go into another neighborhood for whatever reason.
That's right.
And before, back in our day, okay, you play sports, you're gonna get that pass to get through here. Nobody's gonna bother you because you play sports. Now there's no loyalty to that.
Yeah. And the lack of respect or care for the young adults and the kids have for the history of New York City is a joke. I mean, there were kids at Cardozo. Who's Ray for Austin? Like, what? So you really don't know. And then how do you teach someone that doesn't know and doesn't care? And there were young adults like Campus Magnet. Who's the best player ever come from Campus Magnet? A little white kid. Who's he? Bob Cousy. They go, what? Who's Bob Cousy? So
they don't study the history of the game. It's all about what they see on YouTube now. Who made the new move now? What's popular now? Nobody studies who came before them because they don't care.
Right.
Well, listen, this is the reason why I have the high school podcast and highlights on the same channel where I interview some of the legends and the older guys, right, and the greats, because hopefully when a kid is scrolling to find his video or her video, she bumping or he bumping to someone that they can learn from, right? So we got to find unique ways to kind of to sneak into their mind because they got so many things and tablets and earphones and headphones. They got so many things that could distract them. We didn't have that back in the day. So a lot of times we blame the kids for not knowing. We didn't have that much going on back then. So we didn't have nothing else to do but focus on the history of the game and who came before us. So,
but I want to tell you, that's a great point you made, because part of your development is the history. And if you don't know it, but it's kind of like a actor once said this in a movie role. So you're gonna learn though. You're gonna learn the hard way, and that's okay then, because that's the path that you're taking. You don't want to slow down and learn and engulf your skill level to a higher level because you don't want to know the history. So you're always going to have an empty shell of your knowledge of the game because you're not going to know what it was that you evolved to. And it's hard to explain it, but you have to live it. And when you live through a career playing, at whatever level it stopped at, there's an experience that you have from that helped you and is part of your development. These kids aren't having it because, like you said, it's like they're focused on winning, winning, winning. There's money involved, and it's me and my phone and YouTube. And that's fine for a moment, but the knees don't work 30 years later.
Yeah, you gotta stop playing somewhere, and the game is gonna be over. Dave Cordova for Dave Joint said, "Yeah, the 2023 PSL championship game was wild, and well, the end of it, right? He said as the celebration was going on, there was a melee in the stands, which is crazy. And then my guy Basil from Jersey, he's over in Jersey. He said Robertson against George Washington, big time brawl at Madison Square Garden in the '90s.
I was actually at that game.
See, right? And there was one with Lincoln and Robertson. Was it Lincoln and Robertson that was a big melee as well? No,
Lincoln or Jefferson. I know that was when they gave out those vouchers, and there was like 10,000-12,000 people. It was on a Sunday. A fight broke out, and it was ugly. I was sitting near Danny Harris, who then was assistant PSL, and we were just shaking our head because it was just one of those things that happened, and there's nothing you can do when you walk into Madison Square Garden and it looked like a battle royale in the crowd of 10,000-12,000 people. That was it.
Lionel Williams said there has to be a code. When there's no code, that's when the situation devolves.
Yeah.
Said Coach Naclerio, they haven't been taught. This is
that's sad that we have to teach the 2 plus 2 to behave right. But Dave is correct, and they haven't been taught that there's also actions taken, actions done, and then there's repercussions. Because you throw the punch, that guy falls down, he dies. I'm sorry, he's not good enough. Yeah, you can say I'm sorry. You can write his family a letter every day in jail for the next 40, 50 years.
Yeah. And they take it to, because you're taking it to a level that's not, it's like, I don't understand that you just took it to a level that's just not that important anymore. That it's going to, like, you're willing to hurt somebody on the court, field of play, or, whatever, or come out of the stands and sneak punch the referee out of the clear blue. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, there is nothing on this planet after all of the years I've been playing that would make me want to do that. Absolutely nothing.
Maybe some of these guys who are doing it never played the game, right?
Yeah.
we talked about, right? The AG Loves New York City said the mentors, coaches I had back in the days was strict. A lot of these new coaches don't have self-discipline, and they see the kids, and the kids see it, and they behave like it as well. All right. So these are not incidents where we talk about kids attacking referees, right? We're talking about adults, right? We got to cut the kids some slack, because for the most part, some of them may have get technical foul, but I haven't seen a kid since I've been back in the game attack a referee, right?
No, I mean,
or referee, right? So we talking about
kids
all this. We talking about adults.
The kids are, to me, the kids aren't the problem.
Right.
Okay. The kids, because you could always tell, okay, kid, you whatever. The kid is following behind the coach and their parents and whatever handlers they have telling them what to do. That's who they're following behind. Their little friends on the corner who will be telling them how good they are. Those are the people that they're following and they're listening to.
I unfortunately did see a couple of highlights in the Midwest of a couple of kids, a 12-year-old Colcock, another kid was running to the corner. A kid was taking a 3, got the 3 off, and he clotheslined the guy, and it started major fights. So I have seen a couple of young kids fighting this summer in the Midwest in a couple of tournaments.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, but at least that's a kid on a kid. That can be easily broke up.
Yeah,
Now,
but
when
Eric, a couple of these hits were dangerous. I mean, like trying to
No,
kill a guy. You know, like
I could, yeah, I could understand
they
that.
were not like a little elbow. They were wow.
Well, Dave straightened it out. Of course, Dave gets the history right all the time. He said Lincoln and Boys and Girls 2007. He said that fight spilled out into
Yeah, that
Times
was the
Square.
yes, I remember that. I was at that game. Yes. Wow.
So we got a few more minutes before we're gonna get off here, fellas. Again, you know, I've reiterated this before. We talked about solutions, right? Solutions. We know where we're heading. We know what we have to do to kind of keep New York City elevated and not going backwards, right? You know, Slimothy on Instagram said we're missing the elders. Manhattan Sports says NYPD not going to do security for money leagues. Wow. That's crazy. Said money is involved now with the street tournaments. Yeah, but
But
it's
they have
not.
a responsibility, you know, for the community. So they're policing the community, not the tournament. You know, not for nothing, but there's a police car sitting on the corner of Kingston Avenue and Eastern Parkway, and they ain't policing anything, but they're
Woo!
you know what they're protecting. So come on, man. I mean that's an easy fix
They know
to
where
get
the
the
check
police
is.
involved, you know. But the biggest problem is like even like well a solution would be, and I don't know how much it would help, but it's a start. Is a kind of like a code of conduct that you gotta have to you know like reiterate. Like hey, anybody who conducts themselves improperly during the course of there'll be repercussions to the team you're supporting because you can't say you got to leave the park. You can't tell somebody they can leave the park, but you can penalize the team. That's
Now,
what you can do.
shouldn't the players who have some kind of stance or kind of juice kind of tell their people to kind of chill out? Now, again, you can't control a grown person, right? Ghost said Dr. Michael Eric Dice has noted that people who feel disempowered in their lives are much more likely to engage in conspiratorial thinking and violence. Not sure how you fix adult lives. Big problem.
Well, I was blessed to meet Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. We were on Inside the NBA 2 years ago on Martin Luther King's birthday. They had me on the first half hour about my dad and Dr. King my dad saving his life. Then the second half hour was Dr. Dyson talking, and then a year later, I met him at a function talking about violence in New York City. We exchanged numbers. We talked. He's great. He's great. He's not good. He's great. You got to hear him speak. He would be a guy that I would love if New York City can somehow bring him in and speak to all of the youth because he empowers it in a way. Even the youth who don't want to hear, they'll go get some Q-tips to clean their ears, at least for a couple of minutes, to hear what he has to say and how he says it.
So do you feel like a lot of these adults feel like they're disempowered, like they don't have anything
Well,
else?
they're not listening like to the elders. But I tell you, you got these guys that be at these tournaments and they be on the mic and they're listening to them all the time. Maybe they should reach out and start talking to these kids.
Yeah, and first and foremost, I like that, Eric. Like first and foremost, I don't even know why there's that guy walking around with a mic. That should be going away. This is not American Idol. This is not American Idol. I'm sorry. And you don't have a guy walking on the golf course saying, hey, you know, Jack Nicholson. It's like standing right behind him.
Is
Like,
he going to hit a hole in one? You
yeah,
know?
exactly. But I'm just saying, but they should, if they're going to get on the mic, like the way it used to be in Brevoort, the guy sitting behind the scores table, you know, like Marv Albert.
Now,
and saying,
hold on.
"Look,
Now,
like,
time out.
control
Yo,
yourself."
Eric, let me tell you, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just found that out when I interviewed Ingram Slim Montgomery because I thought that was always an uptown thing.
Nah,
And then to hear that this stuff was going on
yeah.
down in
No,
Brevoort in
but
the
even
70s, I was blown away. I was
Yeah,
no,
blown
but
away.
even the
and
old
they
Rucker.
control the situation because
But
you would never see fights breaking out in the old Rucker and Brevoort. Like in
none of
Brevoort, it might
that.
be
None of
in
that.
a project somewhere, but at the game, everybody respected everybody, and there was a code of conduct. How you conduct yourself, and if there's gambling going on, that's a personal decision. Has nothing to do with the league. And they should not. They should the league, any tournament should disavow themselves away from anybody gambling on the game because it has an impact. If I'm paying the referee off and he's getting money, like if it internalizes itself, it's a problem. So gambling should not be in this conversation. It's like the
But
kids
but like
playing.
I said, they
Well,
gambled forever.
yes,
They've been
and we
but
can't knock
but
the
they
done
Right,
now
but
never
I'm just saying
bought.
either.
that's not part of
But
this
the
problem.
hood,
I'm saying.
Right,
no,
but we
but the
can't.
hood never bought the gambling to the court.
Right,
Right,
They
that's what I'm
kept
saying.
it away from the
Right,
court.
right.
and we can't knock
And
the guy that's on the mic either, right? Because they,
no, all I'm
they
saying with
provide
those
the
guys
entertainment as well.
that they have a voice,
Right.
all right,
Right.
and they should be talking against, and a lot of them do, because I've seen a lot of them de-escalate whatever's going on,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and they have like, because basically they're the game now. Every tournament wants a guy on the mic, and they need a DJ. So your list, I mean, it's their game. I mean, you're right, Eric. We didn't have that when we were playing, but this is their game. We didn't have uniforms. We had T-shirts. Okay, but it's their game. It's just that I think the violent part. Like I said, the adults have to set a better example.
Right.
They have to. You
I'm,
know.
I'm I'm gonna go around again, and we're gonna give each one of you guys a minute to kind of say your piece before we get out of here. We're gonna start with Coach Naclerio. Coach, you got a minute. All right, starting now.
You know what? I have dreams. I dreamed when I became a coach that I would learn how to coach, take some kids, make them good players, hopefully make them successful in the game of life, come stars in the game of life if they can't be a star in the NBA, which, I've had 4 NBA players, but I've had a lot of stars in the game of life. To see the violence that is infiltrated Cardozo, the 2 kids that were shot and killed, the 2 parents shot and killed, I feel so much pain when I see the violence that I see go on. I actually had a tournament 2 years ago for the 4 schools that had players shot and killed at Rucker Park, and that was great. I'm praying before I'm 6 feet under, people learn how to behave, and the insanity becomes a thing of the past. I'm praying, but if I had a bet and I don't bet, I would bet against it.
Eric Weaver.
Um, as you know, this is like my last go round with this refereeing thing, and part of it, it's not my game anymore. It's a different game. I just hope that these guys get back to basketball. All right, make it the love of the game again. All right, it's not all about. I mean, we all need money, but have the love for the game, you know, and get it back to basketball because if they keep going at the rate they're going, when you go for that permit yet next year, they're not going to give it to you. And they're going to have a list of things. This is why you can't have a permit in your park to have a tournament.
Thank you, Ghost. I appreciate you, and thank you, E, as well. Ghost, first time on the show. She likes to subscribe, or he likes to subscribe. I don't know. I see a picture of a girl, so my bad. Thank you. I appreciate you. Come back anytime. We enjoyed it. Mr. Eric Short.
Yeah. Listen, I've been involved in this game for a long time, man. And for me, I think that we all owe these young kids our attention, plain and simple. I don't care what it costs. When you put your time in to do something with kids, you have to leave your personal feelings as far as anger and related to violence out of the picture and help these kids because they need us. And if you don't understand that, then you should stay away. Plain and simple. They need us. And you don't know it until you have kids coming back to you, whether NBA players that have come through my camps or guys that are working in Silicon Valley, and they come back and appreciate everything that was done because it was done to progress their enjoyment of the game. And they took it wherever it went. Some people, played on, and some people didn't. Some people have kids now, but they we owe them, and we give back. Everybody stands on everybody's shoulders. Put the effort in and stop this violence and do what's right, plain and simple. And
Well,
solutions, like you said,
yeah.
and with solutions.
Nah, appreciate Paul Scurry. Peace, fam. Appreciate you for coming on to New York Basketball Needs an Organization. Everybody's working individually. Yeah.
Facts.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Brooklyn. Appreciate you, Ghost. Hey, listen, fellas, I appreciate this so much. This has been huge. Thank you to everybody on Facebook, Instagram. Thank you to everybody on that came on YouTube. Everybody with all the comments. If it's your first time, please subscribe to the show. This is what we do. Basketball heads. E with the referee. And salute to all the years you've been putting it down, brother. Salute that. I appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Eric Short, I appreciate you, man, for keep spilling out that good history, man. And whenever I need that article that nobody else can get me besides you and
I'm
Dave
there.
Cordova, so I definitely appreciate that. And Coach Ron Naclerio, let's stay locked in, man, because we always have conversation even offline on the phone about the state of New York City basketball, man. Let's just keep doing the thing. Coach Zoe, appreciate you for coming on. My guy Damon Lawrence, appreciate you for coming on. Thank you. This has been very, very good show. What can I say, man? My last words I just want to say is let's stick together. Let's use our words and let's
Yeah.
stop the violence.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate y'all.
Okay, bro.
Be well. Be well.
Take care, man.
Yes, sir. Well, that's it. Great conversation. Hopefully that people take this and can learn from it. You're a great student. You're a great person. You live to learn something new every day. Violence is something that's been around for a long time in our city, in this world, in this country, and in the game of basketball. Somehow, what we got to do is keep the conversations going, keep the dialogue open, and continue to search for answers. Well, we come to the end of the show. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding, Basketball Heads, the official home for New York City basketball. Let's stop the violence, people, because we headed for self-destruction. We are out. Peace.